Deployment doesn't just change a soldier's life. War memories stay with them forever, and many don't want to talk about it.
But a West Michigan veteran is making his responsibility to tell his war stories, no matter how hard it may be. 24-Hour News 8's Marley Ginter sat down with him and tells us why. Marley.
Well, Brian and Sue, he was watching the news, hearing about the shrinking number of living World War II vets. Well, if they don't tell their stories, we may never know them. Well, this Vietnam War veteran doesn't want that to happen, especially not for his fellow soldiers, his friends who never made it home.
Ed Hood brought out a box of old slides documenting his years in the U.S. Army.
Those are just a couple buddies. They're working on the tanks.
It's where he made friends and met enemies during the Vietnam War.
Oh, wow. Those are the shells?
Yeah, those are the projectiles.
It's also where,
by order of the Secretary of the Army,
he earned a Purple Heart
and the performance under enemy attacks,
an award he wouldn't see until nearly 50 years later, and only because relatives lobbied for it.
I am so pleased the way the patriotic atmosphere is going on with the military today versus when I was in.
In 1968, Hood was hurt running to safety during a rocket and mortar attack. He only remembers waking up in a helicopter on the way to a hospital, continuing on with roughly 20 stitches in his head.
Is it still hard for you today to talk about a lot of the things that happened at the war? That
you know, it's funny. It's easier today than it was, and I can't explain why. I think the past few years I've talked more about than I ever have. On July 3rd, 1967.
Hood considers it a responsibility to talk about it, so his grandchildren and generations to come never forget those who served, especially those who didn't come home.
They're the heroes, not me. I named my son after a close friend that was killed. So yeah, I think about it a lot.
Yeah, you can see how humble he is. In fact, he doesn't talk about the Purple Heart. He's not even the one who pushed for it. In fact, his nephew, he's in the military. He started the effort to get on the Purple Heart several years ago.
Yeah, well, very deserving of that, too.
So
and his message, too, very important to tell those stories.
Of course, especially when you do not want people to forget all that's been sacrificed for them.
For sure.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marley.
Thank you.